Today on Sinder's Playground, I'm going to reveal to you my top 10 favorite Batman stories that I have read. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to my playground. I am Sinder and this is Sinder's Playground. With me, as always, my co-host.
I'm Jose.
And today, man, going back into comics, man. Because you're gonna be listening to this the first week of November. So after a month long of horror content on the channel, changing things back up, and we're doing some comics. And not only are we doing comics, we're doing our favorite comic book character. That is the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Sir, are you excited for this? To hear my favorite Batman stories that I've read?
Yeah, because even though he's one of my favorites, I still don't know as much like different storylines. I just basically know like the animated series, the movies, kind of more mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to learn about the things I never heard about or have
Yeah.
heard but not really dive deep into.
Yeah, what's it? I mean, I would tell you to read some of these, but you're gonna be busy because, well, I'll put this out there. I don't care. Oh, yes, my co-host is now a father.
Woo!
Yeah, man. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Which is good. Like I said, it's never gonna happen to me.
Hey man, you never know.
Oh no. Not if I can help it. Not if I can help it. Yeah, I'm not ready for that life. Just not, man. But no, congratulations. What you call it, and and I hope your little girl that survives this cool fucked up world that we're living in.
Yeah, no, that's true.
What you call it. But I know you would do your best because you're a good dude and you will raise her right, unlike these other fuck nuts who make babies and don't know how to raise them right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No, seriously. Like I said, you're a good dude, man. One of the best cool dudes I know, and can say I'm happy and honored and it's a privilege to know you and call you my friend.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
For sure. And all right, so enough melodrama. Now we're talking comics and we're talking Batman, the Dark Knight himself. I forgot where I asked you this. It's probably when we did our top 10 heroes, but I asked you when the first time you saw Batman. You said it was the Batman the Animated Series from the 90s, right?
Yep.
I think a lot of people's like first introduction to him is like that show. Obviously I knew him beforehand, but I think that show and of course the first film, even though I hate it, it did put him on a global scale, so I'll give it that. I'll give it that, but for a long time comic book readers, like I said, do you know how long this Batman has been in print? How long it's been running?
No, I have no idea.
80 years.
Shit.
80 years, man. Like I said, the only person longer is Superman.
Damn.
Because Superman came out first. But yeah. So a long comic history, and like I said, disclaimer I'm putting on this for all those comic book purists. I have not read every single Batman story, so there might be some omissions on here because this is my top 10 Batman stories that I have read. So these are only stories that I have read. And I know there's some good stories out there, but I haven't get a chance to read them yet. So that's my disclaimer. Speaking of which, we're gonna go to my honorable mentions just because uh I couldn't fit all what stories I wanted to intend. I'm like, man, I gotta mention this, I gotta mention that. So okay, here are my honorable mentions. Um, I'm just gonna do the title and a little brief summary about it. I'm not going into detail like I do my top 10, which I'll explain when I get there. But my honorable mentions. First, I have the Court of Owls storyline, which is very fairly new. I think 2 years ago it came out, and this story intrigued me so much because the Court of Owls. Wait, first of all, if I get into it, like, have you heard of it or know
I've
anything
heard
about
of
this
it.
story?
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I heard of it, but I
You
kind
don't know
of
what it's
got
about.
some of the gist of it. Like Batman
Mm.
finds out that there is like a higher power controlling Gotham, not really like the government and stuff.
So it's like, yeah, it's like a secret organization. And the thing is, what makes this story intriguing to me is just like they've been here the whole time since Bruce has started being Batman. And they've just been in the shadows, manipulating things and stuff like that. I love shit like that where, you know, like the past comes to the present, if you know what I mean. Like, man, it's like, wow, these people have been here this whole time through his 80-year run. These people have been here just doing shit. So that fact alone just makes it interesting to me. And like I said, this and it's new. Like I said, they're a new uh foe for him to go against. And it's an organization. It's not just one solitary villain. It's a group of them. Kind of like how Daredevil goes against the hand. So I like that aspect of it, man. And like it was fresh take, man. And this storyline was like critically acclaimed for fans and comic book like critics as well. I mean, it's great writing. Greg, um, I'm gonna fuck up his last name. Acapulco, I think it is. Wrote this, and this basically blew him up, like in the comic book world scene. The story was so good, people were just like, "Oh man, that was like the best Batman run in like years," and people were saying, and he just blew up just from this one story arc, man. So yeah, Court of Owls. Um, Next one, I have, and this is no particular order, by the way. I have Batman, Son of the Demon. Now, this storyline is the conception of Damian Wayne.
Oh shit! I never knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, like I said, I told you. I mean, I may have mentioned it, in previous episodes, but like I said, when Damien was first introduced, like I hated him so much. I was like, this spoiled, entitled prick, But after like a couple years of reading him, especially like in the Titans, I think him in the Titans really kind of turned me over, I guess. Because I mean, he feels like he's better than everybody on that team,
Yeah,
even though he has no superpowers, which is
but I think that's like the the purpose of how they wrote him in. I think, right?
yeah, yeah, because he's the son. Oh, he's the son of well, Bruce and Talia, and Bruce didn't raise him. He was raised up in the League of Assassins, so Ra's al Ghul instilled that into him. That no, you were part of the elite. You were in my bloodline. So yes, you are better than everybody else. So it's like ingrained in him. And yes, over the years, Bruce has tried to tone that down, if you will, but he still carries that with him. Like I said, I mean, even the first time he met Jonathan Kent, which is Superman's boy, he didn't sweat him at all. This kid has Superman's powers, man. It's just like he didn't sweat him. I was like, bro, like yeah, he's different. you know, he's different. But I've grown to love him. Because like I said, he's a badass, bro. I just like him. Now, is he my favorite Robin? No, but like I said, I do like him a lot for sure. Next, I have Death of a family. Okay, so this I told you briefly about this story. This is the one where I told the Joker he captured everybody Bruce knows. Then I told you he cut off their faces and everything like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's this storyline. Like I said, oh, again, I don't remember who wrote this one, but yeah, that's taking the Joker to another level to me. And there's times, yes, when he's gone too far, and this is one of those instances. And man, like I said, that story is just like, bro, man, and I keep saying it, and I still can't wrap my head around it. It's just like, how many things has this man done to you, Bruce? And you still continue to let him live, it's just like, why? Like I said, but I think that's Joker's whole game. He wants him to cross that line, man. You agree?
Yeah, yeah. I think it shows how far he's willing to go.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What you call it, man. And so yeah, another great storyline. All right, next one. In my honorables, I have Batman Nightfall. Does that name ring a bell to you?
No, I never heard of that one.
This is the story where Bane breaks his back.
Oh,
What do you call it? What do you call it? I do like this story, and it's what you call it? It is a favorite of mine, but it's not in my top 10 because half of the story, Bruce is not, in action because he's healing his from his back. So we have somebody else taking up the mantle, So that's why it's not in my top 10 because these are supposed to be my top 10 Batman stories. So it has to do with Bruce, and if Bruce is incapacitated for half of the story, then, to me, doesn't cut it to be in the top 10. But it is a good story, and everything. And, this obviously is the story that put Bane on the map, you know, breaking Bruce's back, somebody to actually injure him severely like that.
put him
Um,
out of commission for a little bit.
yeah. So yes, it is definitely a great story. Highly recommend it. Like I said, if you want to see like Bane in his glory, if you will, read this story. All right, last one I have is Batman Dark Knight's Metal. And this one, what do you call it? I think it came out 2 years ago, so fairly new and everything like that. Now I haven't. Um, I know it's good because the writing team is good, artwork is good, but I haven't read it, so that's why it's not on the list. But I know about it, and like I said, it's another storyline highly praised, and fans and critics, comic book critics alike liked it. I just haven't got to it, and this is probably going to be the thing I'm going to be looking for when we go to Comic Con this year. Well, actually, but when this goes up, Comic Con will have passed, so hopefully I have it in my collection. But yeah, I'm definitely want to read this, sit down, take the time, and read this and go through it and see what the hubbub is about on this book. So yeah, Batman Dark Knight's Metal. Now, those were honorables. Now I'm going to the top 10, man. Now I'm gonna let you and the audience know how I'm doing this. Going through 10 all the way up to 1, and I'm giving you the year it came out, the writer, the artist, and a little synopsis of the story. So that being said, are you ready, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Now kicking things off at number 10, I have Batman Year One. Released in 1987 and written by the legendary Frank Miller with art by David. I'm fucking your name, bro. Uh, Massuchelli. This story. Oh, wait a minute. Quick side note, though. This story was meant to be a live action movie, but following the low box office numbers of 1997's Batman and Robin, probably the worst film, uh, the project was scrapped. Um, but I just want to throw that in there.
I
Just
don't want to blame
anytime,
just to shit on that
yeah,
movie.
anytime I can shit on those films, I will. So yeah. Oh, But this story was, as the name implies, is when Bruce returns to Gotham after 10 years being abroad, training in different forms of martial arts and honing his detective skills before becoming the Batman. At and at this time, he is still hasn't committed to the bat as a symbol, but he goes and does his detective work just dressed in black in a black mask, gathering clues to help the police solve cases. Also, this is the book where we see Jim Gordon for the first time before he becomes commissioner. And also in this story, this is before Barbara is born, and his wife is still alive. Um, and he's also we find out he's a transfer from Chicago, which I think is a nice touch. With Chicago being infamous for crime, and Gotham is kind of like a crime city, so I thought that was a nice
Oh,
touch.
that's cool. And you
Yeah.
don't really hear that much info behind
Oh yeah,
origin.
like yeah, before he became commissioner, like I said. So I think that's why I really like this story. It shows the roots of like everything we know now. You know what I mean? Um. So, like I said, if you want
This
to
is
see, huh?
I'm sorry. No, no, you could finish your sentence,
Alright.
man.
Like, so if you want to see the beginning of Bruce before he becomes the Batman, I highly recommend this one. And that's all I have for Batman Year One. So what do you think about that one?
No, that seems cool. I would
Mm.
like to read that one. That kind of reminds me of the movie though, the one that just came out.
Oh, the Batman. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Kind of
where
seeing
it's
his
like,
root.
first years.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily his first year. Well, I would say that was his like second year,
Yeah, it's probably a second
year
year.
two.
Yeah, because when he came back home, he didn't immediately jump into the Batman gimmick. He what do you call it? He would, like I said, he was just going around helping the police, doing his own detective work and everything like that. Um, and I mean, depending on what you read, I kind of go with this interpretation. And what I mean is how we came up with the bat symbol. It's because, what do you call it? He did already have a bat cave, but like I said, but he just made it as like an underground, command center. He didn't, you know, call it the bat cave. It was just a place where he had the big supercomputer and he would do his research and all that stuff, man. And then one day he would just sit in there, and then he just noticed the bats just like all on the roof, of the cave, and he was like, hmm. And it kind of came to him, and yes, he was like, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna use that, you know. So I mean, like I said, that's one interpretation of it. Like I said, few writers have done it in different ways how we came up with it, but I kind of like that um explanation of it. What do you think about that? Still there?
Yeah, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
No, I like, I do like that, but I kind of like the Dark Knight, like the way he realized about the bats and stuff.
Oh
Not to
yeah,
bring
the
it
way.
back to that movie, because obviously it was ran well and stuff, but and people were probably tired of hearing about it. But yeah, like I like that origin story. But no, that one seems pretty cool too. I didn't realize that. I didn't think of that being a different type of origin like that.
Yeah, well, because like I said, I mean, just like any long-time character, different writers will take a stab at the origin and stuff like that, and Batman's no exception, But the one I just described, I kind of like that one. But no, Batman Begins, like the way that happen and how he came up with it. I do like that one too, everything. But again, I love those films, so I can't see any flaws with them. So that's just me. I'm being biased, yes, but that's just me, Okay, moving along, going on to number 9, man, and this one is called Batman: The Long Halloween. Uh, Released in 1996 and written by Jeff Loeb and art by Tim Sale. This was a 13 issue um mini series, and it's basically the retelling of the Two-Face origin, and we really get to see Batman's detective skills at work here. And not only does this story have the Two-Face, introduction, but we also get the Joker, um And we also get the catalyst for the story, for this. Well, the catalyst for the story is which is Carmine Falcone. Does that name sound familiar to you?
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Falcone.
Yes, yes, yes. Like I said, he's like the crime boss in Gotham, you know. So this story really kind of put him like a mainstay in like Batman's universe, you know. And like I said, not that I like the character or anything, I don't think he's cool or anything like that, but like this kind of introduced him to, yeah, this is like the big,
The big
obviously he's
fish.
not a super, yeah, obviously he's not a super villain, but like, this is like the big, crime guy in Gotham, man. Like I said, and kind of before we get like the Two Faces and the Jokers and stuff like that, Batman was dealing with like mobsters. So and like this was like the biggest one. So and plus I like the fact that this story, really digs deep into that detective element, which I think a lot of people forget. His well, he has many monikers, but one of them is the world's greatest detective. You know, and I think this story really highlights it. That's kind of why I like it. Because like I said, it is gives you that noir feel to it too. Which I am kind of a fan of. I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, it's definitely definitely a great story, and you can uh if you don't want to read it, there is an animated movie version of this, like I said, and I think it's on Max right now. I don't know because they rotate their DC anime movies in and out, so I don't know if it's still there. It was there last time I checked, but that was a while ago. So check your check your Max subscriptions. If you want to check this out in animated form. You know. So what do you think about this one?
That one sounds pretty cool too.
Mhm. Like I said, I mean, and again, like I said, longtime characters they have different interpretations. Like I said, in this one we get one interpretation of how Two Face came to be. Although, like I said, I do like. now I'm stealing your idea now. I'm do like the Dark Knight Rises Two Face, how that came into play and everything like that. But no, but this one I like it. It's good, and Two Face. I mean, well, no, what do you rank him in the hierarchy of Batman villains? Two Face.
Wait, what Two Face hierarchy?
I mean, for as Batman villains go.
Um, I would say, top 5.
Really? You put him in the top five?
I'm trying to really think because he has a vast majority. Some like really mess with him. I
Yeah.
don't know if he really does mess with him that much to put him in the top 5. He is pretty like influential in the beginning, I would think,
Oh yeah.
but not as much later on.
hmm Well, yeah. I'm like he kind of gets overshadowed by the bigger villains. Let me say.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
mean, personally, I put him in like I don't even know if he's top 10 to be honest with you.
Damn.
To be honest with you. All right,
No,
top
yeah,
15.
top 10 would probably be.
It'd probably be top
Uh,
15 with me. Like I said, that's just me. I'm just saying. But yeah, for sure. Oh man, now ready for the next one, sir?
let's go.
Okay, I kind of cheated on this one. uh, it's two different story arcs, but they kind of go together. So I'm counting them as one. um, you'll see what I mean. But I'm going with Batman Cataclysm. This was released in 1998, written by Chuck Dixon, who's done a lot of Batman stories as well as worked on these books: Nightwing, Robin, Batman and Robin, and Birds of Prey. So to say he's versed in the Batman universe is an understatement. um, in this story, Gotham City is struck by an earthquake, registering 7.5 on the Richter scale, and And instantly, the Batcave, Wayne Manor are in ruins. Thousands are dead, and the Bat family immediately goes into action, being Oracle, Nightwing, Robin, and Azrael, while Bruce tries to escape the cave and rescue Alfred. And we also see some of Gotham regulars uh and how they react in this cataclysmic occurrence. For example, Catwoman, who was on a job when the quake happens, tries to escape the building she's in and tries to save a young girl from being killed, but the young girl dies in her arms, and she immediately changes her focus to get citizens to safety. This is just one example. It is a compelling story and an original idea because it's a foe Batman cannot beat. It's Mother Nature. So if you want to read a Batman story about Batman being a first responder in a crisis, this is a good read. Now, what do you think about this one?
That is pretty. That's pretty cool because you never really hear how much Mother Nature affects Gotham or whatever. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's and it's a cool take to see on like how everyone reacts to certain things like that.
Oh yeah, that's just one example. Like I said, the story moves around Gotham. You see how other people are handling the situation, what they're doing, to do it. Now, I said this was a two part, so I'm putting this together because because this happens right after the earthquake, and like I said, it's a continuation. And this one is called Batman No Man's Land. So, and this was released in 1999 and was written by Chuck Dixon, of course, and others. Um, following the events of Cataclysm, the government evacuates Gotham City and declares Gotham a no man's land and destroys all the bridges leading out of Gotham and set up military barricades to prevent people from leaving and entering. So, oh, so the villains, so the villains that did not leave are now on the rampage, and Batman and the family are trying to protect the citizens that chose to stay. Also, with Gordon and the few officers who wanted to stay to help the civilians. The villains actually take sections of Gotham for themselves, like Joker naming his part of Gotham Jokerville, and the Penguin, Two Face, etc. Um, so Batman is doing his best to take down these criminals in their strongholds, and when you when you read, you feel what he's going through because it's nonstop. He's going on no sleep. He's trying to take these guys out and get his city back to where it was, or at least somewhat back to where it was. You know, it's a great read if you want to read. It's a great read, especially if you read Cataclysm. I highly recommend following it up reading this. So now, what do you think about that?
That's also pretty cool. I see why you put them
Putting it
together
together.
though, but that's pretty cool. I would like to see that.
hmm Like I said, yeah. So yeah, basically, Gotham is like shut off from the world
Or
pretty much
read
because
it.
yeah, Gotham
Good
is shut from
thing
the
to
world,
do that.
and the criminals are taking advantage of the situation. Those that stayed, because not all the criminals stayed. Like, some people say, nope, I'm getting out. That's like this say for me, but of course the Joker. I just pointed him out because of course, he's sick. He's gonna stay. He's like, yes, it's chaos. I love this. Um, and yeah, like I said, it's I think it's really powerful because, like you said, I mean, because like I mentioned, like you see him just going, after going to enemy stronghold to enemy stronghold to enemy stronghold, just trying to take these guys and bring them back to justice and get them locked up again. So his city can be like what it once was. Like I said, it's a powerful story. I like it a lot, and just one of my favorites. Oh damn! I just remembered there's another one I forgot.
Damn.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna have to run through this again.
No.
You could
Damn.
add it as an honorable mention
Yeah. I know the honorable mention
as
because
the
it
end,
totally
or
slipped
you
my
could do it
mind.
now, I guess.
Um. Oh, damn! I really wanted to mention this one too. Okay,
Mention it.
so real quick, what do you call it? I'll throw this in my animals. It's a good story, but I don't think it's top 10 worthy. But it's called Bruce Wayne Murderer. Man, it's so good because the tables are turning on Bruce. Because, like I said, somebody framed him for killing one of his girlfriends, and he goes on trial and everything, and he's trying to figure this shit out who did it. It's such an intriguing story, man. And believe it or not, I forgot who was behind the whole thing because it's been that long. But it's a good read, especially like you said, if you want to see like I said, the tables turn on Bruce, where like he's trying to, well, he's always trying to figure shit out, but you know what I mean. Like somebody's actually kind of outsmarted him. You know what I mean? And
They flipped the
it's
script.
yeah, the script on him, and it's like so good because obviously, if they do this, they know who he is. So
Yeah,
like, they know who he is, so they're kind of handicapping him. So, like I said, I highly recommend that one too. Bruce Wayne Murderer. Like I said, you should definitely read that one. But that's an honorable. Moving along. Okay, so now we get into. Remember, well, we were talking about before we started recording. I was telling you about the Injustice storyline and how that's an Elseworld story where it's not in the main continuity. And I told you I like stories like that.
yeah, yeah.
This next one is one of those stories, man. And I like it. Like I said, I love these Elseworld stories because, like I said, it takes these characters out of their usual environment and or puts them in very, very unique situations. And this is one of those stories. I have another one too on the list, but this is the first one. And this is called Batman and Dracula Red Rain.
Oh,
uh,
that sounds interesting.
this is an Elseworld story, which means, for those who don't know, doesn't place in the main DC continuity, which I really love these type of stories because writers have no rules pretty much to follow, and they can have their characters do whatever they want. That's why I like these stories. This actually is a trilogy of books, with Red Rain being the first one, followed by Bloodstorm, and then the third one called Crimson Mist. Highly recommend all of them, but give the first one. But I have to give the first one its due. It's written by Doug Monkle and drawn by Kelly Jones, which is a dude. um, what do I have to say here? The title says it all, man. It's Batman investigates a series of killings with the victims' throats being slashed and discovers a covenant of vampires led by Count Dracula himself. You want to see Batman tackle the supernatural? This one is for you. Um, okay, so that's what I have on that one. What do you think about this one? Sir? Well, I think he's predisposed at the moment, but I'll let you talk some more. Um,
Oh,
this
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, for me, I think that's pretty cool. Like, um, you don't really get to see superheroes really attack, some of the greatest scary villains in
like
history,
in history. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, so taking Count Dracula, putting him in Gotham, man, and creating that setting, like I said, it's a good read, man. Like I said. Out of the three books, I mean, like anything else, the first one's always gonna be the standout, so that's why I put it. But I did have to mention the other two because, like I said, it's a trilogy, and like I said, he come against him two more times, man, and like I said,
Damn,
it's good, man.
going for a
It's really good.
trifecta.
Yeah, it's good,
Dude,
man. Like I said,
that's
so you
cool.
see how
Yeah,
Batman tackles.
I never
Hmm?
really seen crossovers like that except for like Scooby Doo and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I said, comic books have all kinds of crossovers, man. Like I said, that's why I love the medium, man. Like I said, we can see shit like this. You know, imagine somebody trying to do this on film.
That would be pretty sick, though.
It would, but like I said, I don't think they could do it right though. That's just
Yeah,
my opinion.
they wouldn't
That's
give
just
them that much of a budget, and no
probably
budget
not.
means shitty quality.
Yeah, I mean, plus I don't think anybody can craft a original story. They would have to do this, do this storyline. And like I said, as we mentioned before, a lot of directors, not all of them, a lot of directors like to put their own spin on shit, and change shit up, even though a good story is already written for you. You know what I mean? um, but yeah, like I said, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't even want to see this, like I said, in live action. Like I said, but DC can do it in an animated version, though. I wouldn't mind seeing that because I know they would nail it. Oh, okay. Going into number 6, and this is Batman: Death in the Family, man. Released in 1988, written by Jim Starlin and drawn by Jim Aparo. You don't know this one? Then you're not a Batman fan. That's what I wrote there. It's the story of Joker killing Robin, Jason Todd Robin, and how Bruce deals with it. And if you haven't read it, it's a good read. And we see the Joker in a very rare instance where he goes beyond what you would think he is capable of, in my personal opinion. Having him beat Jason Todd to death with a tire iron and Bruce not being able to save him, that alone, is worth the read because you see the desperation in Bruce and you see the after effects of it. And yeah, it's a great read. And like I said, one of the best Batman stories, obviously, and like I said, and this for me was the first death I seen in comics. Granted, I know Gwen Stacy happened before this, but I didn't read that. That was actually before my time. Before my time. I didn't find out to Gwen Stacy till later. But nah, this hit hard, man. And I told you the story how when this came out and old comic heads, found out and they thought it was Dick Grayson that died and they lost their shit. Remember me telling you that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and like I said, and I would say it's, I would say too, all those comic heads who like lapsed off of reading comics, I would say this kind of got them back into it because like I said, I mean, I don't know if I was reading, I probably was still reading at the time. I don't think I fell off because I'll be honest, I have taken breaks from getting books, you know, but I think I was still reading at the time, and yeah, man, this was a big deal. Interesting side note: do you know how they came up with this? You know,
No.
initially, because actually DC put out a poll before it was written to see if to the readers, this is like back in the day when uh the back of the comics had like newsletters and stuff like that, you know. Not like online, you could just go to like dc.com or whatever, and do a poll. But like back then, what do you call it? Yeah, they had polls in the back of the books, So they had a poll, like I said, and you could just tear out the last page, or put your vote and mail it to DC. They said, "Should we kill Jason?" And the majority said yes, because they did not like him. Because I think part of it is just because he wasn't Dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dick is everybody's Robin. So the fact that the fact you gave the readers the choice to kill this guy, they were like, "Yeah, kill him." They were, yeah, kill him. So yeah, so that's how that came about. Yeah, Death in the Family, landmark story and a turning point. I think one of his Bruce's turning points in his history. I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that really that's one of Joker's probably most heinous ones.
One of them. He's done so many bad things to him, but yeah, this is definitely up there. I'd probably say the top 3 most despicable things he's done to him. Just yeah, it's this one definitely. But yeah, no, good treat. And if you haven't read it, read it. Um, I definitely highly recommend, especially if, like I said, you want to see Joker kind of go off the deep end. This is this is one of those times, man. All right, moving on, man. Number 5, man. We're in the top 5 now. 5, I have Batman Hush. Oh,
Oh, this one I saw the
the animated version. Yeah.
anime.
Mm, yeah. And it's funny. And that one just like tackled like half of it, man. You know, it was good. I enjoyed it, but it didn't go how much the book does. But let me get into it. Released in 2002 and written by Jeff Loeb and drawn by the super talented Jim Lee. I'm gonna pause here for a second. Jim Lee, do you know who that is?
No clue.
Okay, he's one of my favorite artists, probably one of my favorite top three comic book artists. Not only that, he drew the most popular, most selling comic book in history, and that was X Men #1. That was X Men #1, but not the original X Men #1. This is X Men Volume 2, I think it was Volume 2, because of course you have the original X Men with the Snowman, Iceman, you
Yeah,
know that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, but then they stopped it and then they relaunched it with this X Men #1, man, where it has the gatefold cover, man, and it's the and for a lot of people that was the definitive X-Men team: Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Colossus, Gambit, Rogue, Psylocke, and Professor X, and Jean Grey. um because the definitive team, for me, and Beast, I forgot Beast. Yeah, to me that's the definitive team, for me. Yeah, X-Men come and go just like the Avengers. X-Men come and go and everything like that, but to me that's the definitive team. That's my X-Men. That's X-Men I grew up in. That's the X-Men we see in the animated series, you know so yes. The most selling comic book in history. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yep,
Not
that
that
X-Men.
part.
Yeah, that X-Men #1 volume 2. Like I said, most sellingest comic book in history, man. um, and Jim Lee is also the person who came up with one of your favorite characters, because that volume 2 is where we got the first appearance of Omega Red. So Jim Lee came up with that,
Oh
man.
shit.
So yes, that's why I say super talented Jim Lee. um
Makes sense now. It makes sense.
Yeah. It's funny though. He works for DC now, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right now he works for DC.
I don't blame
Which,
him.
mhm. but no, but I will mention him again coming up. Again coming up, he does something else. But this story, what you call it? This story is so awesome. Like I said, so it starts off with Bruce rescuing a boy who's kidnapped by Killer Croc, and then in the middle of all this, Catwoman steals the ransom money. Um, uh, uh, so she steals the ransom money. So then, after that, a three-way chase ensues while Batman is in pursuit. The cable to his grappling hook is cut, and Batman falls to the ground, fracturing his skull. So Alfred calls one of Bruce's good friends, Thomas Elliot, who is a brain surgeon. I love this story, for so many reasons. The art, the story as a whole. We get to see just about every person in his rogues gallery, and we get an appearance from Justice League members as well. Highly recommend this one um if you like stories with a lot of characters. This has it, and has great artwork, and the story as a whole is awesome. And like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it if you haven't read it, obviously. But like I said, read this, or as my co-host said, you can watch the animated version. Like I said, on Max, they have it there. But like I said, the animated one, like I said, doesn't cover half of it, man. Like I said, there's so much to this story, and I love this arc. And also, it's somebody fresh for him to go against. You know, not that his Rogues Gallery villains aren't classic, but it's also nice to get some a fresh villain from him to face off with somebody you don't know what they're about. You know what I mean?
That's
So
true.
that's another reason why I like this story. So Batman Hush. What do you think about this?
Like I said, I've seen it. I didn't
Mhm,
read it, so I didn't know that I was missing much more.
mhm,
But it sounds like I am. And
mm,
no, yeah, like you said, I liked it because it was a refreshing new villain
mhm.
that you don't know about in the beginning. So you're like, damn, who is this guy?
Yep. Like I said, it's
I mean,
you know,
I don't blame any new villains coming out if if Batman's around. You don't.
yeah, yeah.
You could
Like I
just
said,
go to the next town over and do crime.
but no, like I said, I mean, like I said, I mean, he's such a cool character, man. Like I said, and it's and I think he's only been used like one other time, like in the books. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think he's only been used one other time in the books because they use him sparingly, which I like.
Quote
Because to
him
me,
on this in the comment section.
yeah, you can put that in the comment section. How many times has DC used Hush? Um, But nah, I like him. Like, because to me, I think they treat him special because he is. Like I said, he's someone that came in and made a big splash. This whole story arc made a big splash. Like I said, I think this is one of those stories that brought people back. Into picking up Batman books. You know, so that's why it's at number 5, man. Highly recommend it. Like I said, if you want to see a fresh take on Batman and hit him face off against somebody fresh, this is the book for you. Moving on, man. Oh, man. Number 4, man. Looking at it now, yeah, I think it's in the right spot. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, like I said, when I tell you this title, you're like, man, how come this is not like number 2 or 3? But you'll find out. Number 4, man. One of my favorite um Batman stories, and it's also an Elseworld story. So, like I said, something out of continuity, but this is Batman versus Predator, sir.
Oh, you
uh,
told me about this.
Released in 1991 and written by Dave Gibbons, who mainly, ironically, worked on the Green Lantern before getting this gig. Um, and I just like he knocked it out of the park. Taking something so unique and just like playing with it, he killed it, man. And after that, he actually worked on actually Marvel picked him up, and he worked on Savage Hulk, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Captain America as well. I just want to throw that in there because, like I said, I think just like somebody has like a breakout movie, a comic book artist or writer can have a breakout story. You know what I mean? And then people in the comic world will just focus on him. It's like, oh, this guy's hot, man. We need to get him to work for us. So that's why, again, I think that's why you see people switch from Marvel to DC back and forth and stuff like that. You know, because like I said, they can put out a hot story that the public likes. And the other companies like, oh, we need to get him on, Spider-Man. We need to get him on Daredevil. We need to get him on, so and so. If a book is like dropping in sales, that's what publishers do. They try to look out for the hot guy. It's like, oh no, we need to get him on this so we can pick up sales. You know, I mean, it's a good business strategy. I mean, when you agree,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um, and it's drawn by Andy Kurbit, and I mean, what do I have to say? Really, it's the Dark Knight versus one of the best hunters in the galaxy. This story also is a 3-part series, with the second one called Blood Match and the third one called Blood Ties. I should mention it's not in continuity, which I did already. Yeah. And this is actually a co-production between DC and Dark Horse Comics, who at the time owned the rights to Predator. And at this time, we know Disney owns the rights to Predator, so we'll see if they fuck this up too. um, but yeah, I'm not even gonna give you any details. You don't need to know anything. It's Batman. It's Predator. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's all you need to
You don't
know.
even need another synopsis for that. Like you said, it's pretty genius, like mixing two cult classics together.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, yeah, you don't need to know. That's all you need to know. Batman Predator in the same story. I'm sold. I mean, you don't even have to tell me who wrote it. I mean, I would have bought this up whoever wrote this. You know what I mean? Interesting side note. I might post this on my Instagram at Sinder666. If you're listening to this, you should be following me. Um but yeah, right now they're running a story Predator versus Wolverine. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, like I said, I am definitely gonna look for that when we go to Comic Con. I want to read that story, because I love the Predator, man. And having to go against two of my favorite comic book heroes, man. obviously, like I said, I've read the Batman trilogy, now I want to read this, and hopefully they'll turn this into a trilogy. Him going against Wolverine. I mean, that also sells itself. You know what I mean? It's Wolverine. It's Predator. Both savage creatures. Oh man, I want to read it right now.
Just end the
But
show right now.
yes, yes, but yeah, but getting to the Batman. So obviously, well, I did tell you about this before, but now like kind of telling you like a little bit more about it and knowing that there's three stories with these two meet. What do you think about it?
I mean, are we ending the show right now? It's just three.
That's only number four, man. Oh, why don't you go to Amazon and look and see if you can find
Yeah.
it? Mm, yeah. Um. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. I think I did mention this in our Predator episode. Again, that's on YouTube, so you can watch that podcast as I talk about the Predator franchise if you haven't already. Um, but yeah, Dark Horse Comics, they own the Predator license for a long time, and they put out good books, man. Good stories, man. I told you, Dark Horse Comics was the first time they took him out of like current day and put him in the past. I'm like, and then it dawned on me, it was like, yeah, these aliens have been coming here since the beginning of time, man. So you can throw stories of them, like I said, in the old west or colonial times, you know, or or even the Stone Age, man. It's like I said, there's so many things you can go with this character, man. Like I said, I mean, with the pool of ideas that big, we should be getting Predator stuff on a regular, man. That's just my opinion, you know. But I think a lot of people in Hollywood don't know how to handle the character. Like I said, whoever I forget the guy's name, whoever wrote and directed Prey, like I said, did an excellent job, man. Like I said, you should hire that guy to do the next project, and you can have him be like the Kevin Feige of the Predator franchise, man, because obviously he knows the shit and he knows what he's doing. You know, I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there to do that. Because clearly somebody needs to be at the helm, you know, dictating all of this.
His
You
name
know,
is Dan Trachtenberg.
okay, Dan Trachtenberg, like I said, man, like I said, you should be leading the next project. Like I said, now unlike Aliens, which we know has a film coming out next year, I have no idea what the future is for Predator. So, like I said, hopefully, you know, this guy would be on board to. I'm sure he would be on board to do another project. So hopefully, Disney, in their infinite wisdom, will pick him back up and have him work on the next project. But that's just my 2 cents because Disney, as we talk right now, is not my favorite company like they once were. um, but yeah, moving along. Now, sir, doing top three. Are you ready?
Yes. Get into the
Okay,
meat and potatoes.
top three, man. This one, man. Ooh, this is not only my favorite. Well, no, it's just my favorite, but not only one of my favorite Batman stories, but it's really not a Batman story. It's a Justice League story, but Batman is the focus. S- So, regardless, I wanted to include this one and by putting it so high, it's a good story. uh, this one is called Tower of Babel. Now, ooh, and it only went for 4 issues in the Justice League, but those 4 issues, man, shit happens, bro. Shit happens, man. Like I said, it went for 4 issues in the JLA from number 43 to 46. Now, JLA, I think, was their third volume of the Justice League because I think originally the first was Justice League of America, and then Volume Two was just Justice League, and then they just shortened it to JLA. Um, Now this is written by Mark Wade, who is one of my favorite writers. Man, he has worked on The Flash, Captain America, Daredevil, Heroes Reborn, which was a big Marvel event. You know, one of my favorite guys, man. To write for books, man. And it's drawn by Howard Porter. This story, man. I like it for so many reasons, but probably the main reason is why we get a sense of how Batman thinks. So that being said, uh, he has a file on every member of the Justice League and how to defeat them and all their weaknesses. Batman does. Now, I wouldn't be surprised too if he has it on every DC superhero. uh Files. These files now, not only have the weaknesses and how to defeat them, but also has their alter egos with the secret entities, those who have them. So these files were stolen by Ra's al Ghul, who uses them to defeat the Justice League in a coordinated attack, uh, in order to pursue his latest plan. Batman helps the Justice League regroup, but this is why, right here, I rank this story so high. Batman comes clean after all the dust is settled and tells the League what happened, and they dismiss him of being a member of the Justice League. And and that event has been referenced since then a few times in Justice League books. Um, the fact that Batman trusts nobody and has prepared in any event that someone to betray him or go rogue speaks volumes of his character to me and why I like this story so much. That's what I have for Tower of Babel. What do you think about that?
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, what you call it? I mean, thinking about it, would you even think that he would have like files on everybody?
Yeah, hundred
Well,
percent.
well, on everybody, like I said, and stored them on his supercomputer and everything like that. But yeah. I mean, till I read this story, I didn't think he would. I mean, I think he knows maybe subconsciously how to do it, but like to have it on paper,
I think
metaphor
you would think
speaking.
like just in case he was compromised or he died or something, because they were always together, and if somebody wanted to get rid of him, I don't think he would have been ready for somebody to go after him.
True.
So,
Yeah, true. Like I said, and you do bring up a point. Yeah, what if he's out of commission? And somebody needs to use the files or something, or like Nightwing needs to do it for some reason, or something like that. So I can see why he has detail files on every superhero. And how to defeat them and their weaknesses and all their information and stuff like that. But what do you think about the fact that obviously he didn't tell the league he had these files, and after he comes clean and tells them, and they dismiss him from the league? What do you think about that?
I think they're just mad.
uh, I mean, they bring up the point of it being a trust issue. Like they feel like he doesn't trust them. I'm like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't, man. Like I said, he's Batman. Like I said, he has a plan for everybody. Everybody. He carries a piece of kryptonite in his utility belt at all times, right?
Yeah, that goes to show.
Just in case Clark goes off something happens to Clark, he's ready. He's ready. Um. So yeah, so that's why I love. I mean, like I said, that's why this is ranked so high for me because, like I said, even though it's a Justice League story, Batman is kind of the focus, and like I said, we get an insight to his personality. Like, yeah, he has plans. Like I said, he has contingency plans for all y'all. For all of y'all, bro. Like I said, if it comes down to it, he can take you out, man. You know, which also brings up the infinite question: Batman versus Superman, who would win? Well, Batman. Everybody's argument is, well, the Batman fans' argument is, well, if he had time to know who he was going against, he would win. Obviously, then Superman fans were like, there ain't no way, man, and stuff like that. It's the age old argument, man. It's kind of like Thing versus the Hulk, It just is like,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh man, like I said, I mean, all right, let me put it to you like this. Like I said, if those two fought 10 times, who do you think would win the majority of the fight?
Batman.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'm not being biased because he
Not
might
100%
no.
bias. Because you know what Batman's capable of.
Not only that, I mean, I would say Bruce. I mean, Clark would probably get the first fight, but then Bruce would learn from
Yeah.
that. Bruce would learn from that, and he was like, "Okay, I got you, bro." I was like, "I know what to do next time." And then yeah, for that,
Batman's all about staying ready so he doesn't have to get ready.
yep. So God, it's like I love this character so much, bro. But yeah, Turbo. Oh, now number 2, man. I have Under the Red Hood. Released in 2005 and written by Judd Winnick and drawn by Doug Mackey. This story, man, it's another landmark moment in Batman's history. You know, if you don't know, uh, if you don't know, a new anti-hero emerges in Gotham City dealing ultra violent justice for criminals, which Batman has a problem with. And the two face off, and well, if you don't know what happens after that, read it. uh the fact that the mystery goes on throughout the whole arc until the end to keep you in suspense and keep you invested in this story. That's why I like it. And of course, what I really puts it over the top for me is who the Red Hood is. And like I said, I'm not gonna say it just in case somebody actually doesn't know this story and wants to read it, so I'm not gonna spoil it. But man, this story, bro, and oh man, and it gives me feels. And this is probably one of the few DC anime movies. I think they nailed it to the T as far as the story goes. Have you seen the animated version of this?
No.
Oh man, you need to watch it, bro. You need to. Oh, it's so good. It's one of my favorites of the DC animated movies, man. Like I said, it's in my top 3. I mean, okay, I say it's my top 3 Batman ones because Batman does have a lot, but there's also Justice League ones that I really like. But as far as the Batman goes, this is definitely my top 3. Oh, it's so good. I mean, you know who this is, though, right? I don't need to tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. But yeah, like I said, it's so good, man, and to see somebody actually keep up with him on an athletic level, and and you can tell they know his ins and outs, his habits, what he does, and it becomes a problem for Bruce, you know, and like I said, so to see him get flustered, if you will, is a rare occurrence, and another reason why I like this story, man. Like I said, and of course, like I said, the what puts it over the top for me is who it is, and that's why it's number 2, bro. What do you think about this story, and what do you think about its placement on my list?
I agree with your placement on it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a really good story.
Mm-hmm.
I could see
Yeah,
why you put the.
yeah, you understand, right?
Yeah.
You understand, right? Yeah, like I said, one of the best, and like I said, a definite turning point in his career, right here. This story arc, bro. Uh, highly recommend it if you haven't read it. Read it. uh, all right, man. Here we are, number 1. I mean, anybody who reads comics probably already knows what this is. And listen, if you don't read books, like I said, this is the one. This is not only a good story, this is the one changed everything. That's why it's number 1. And that's why if you Google best Batman stories, this usually will be neither 1 or 2. it's that good and it's that influential and it's that groundbreaking. But I'm gonna tell you, my number one favorite Batman story is The Dark Knight Returns, man. It's funny. Uh when we were brainstorming this, coming up with an idea for the show, and you suggested this. Well, I think I suggested it, and you were like, "Yeah, do that." I had no idea what I was going to be number one, but when I sat down today and did my research, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it has to be this." Oh, and like I said, it just my memory was just shocked. Like, "Oh yeah, The Dark Knight Returns. It has to be this, man." Man. What do you call it? This had to be number one. Uh, um, and what you call it? In a future, the story is set. Batman is older. And there are more vigilantes in this timeline than there are heroes, and the heroes are few and far between. Batman continues the fight though, comes out of retirement to fight because he is sick of seeing the heroes, well, not the heroes, but the vigilantes and the criminals just go out of control. So he comes out of retirement, man. You know, and he becomes just as brutal as they are in this story, which I dig, man. It's one of the things I dig about this story, man. What you call it? And of course, now that he's doing it and the bodies are piling up in the streets of Gotham, he faces resistance from the Gotham PD and the U.S. government.
Oh.
And what you call it? And the government is sick of Batman, like I said, loitering the streets with bodies. So they call in Superman, who in this story is a government pawn pretty much. And after trying to reason with Bruce, the two have it out in one of the best comic book fights I have ever seen. And let me not forget that this is written and drawn by the legendary Frank Miller, who's done Sin City, The 300, and Daredevil, who's probably one of the best runs in Daredevil is the Frank Miller run, in my opinion. Um, this is not only one of the best Batman stories, but it changed the course of the character's history going forward. Writers after this would take Batman in a more serious, darker tone. So we have Frank Miller to thank for that. And yeah, if you haven't read it, like I said, read it. If you read anything from this,
From this
read
whole
this.
episode.
Yeah. Read this. Like I said. And as much as I hate and shit on him, Tim Burton said he used this book as partial inspiration for the original 1990 Batman, which I don't see. But this is what he said. But this is what he said. Um yeah, and like I said, this story, like I said, this story going forward, everybody, put Batman in that serious tone, in that darker tone, because this is because this is what they saw when they read this story. I mean, young writers at the time and young artists at the time. It's influential in Batman's history. It is a landmark story. It is, like I said, if you ask most comic fans, especially Batman fans, it's probably the greatest Batman story ever told. You know, um, and it is my number one. So, what do you think about that, sir?
Nice. I mean, I never really heard of the whole story,
Hmm.
but that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I have to take you up on that offer.
This also has an animated version if you want to watch that as well. You and the viewers out there.
Okay. That's even more
Um,
doable.
yeah. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I have this like in a trade paperback. Like I said, one of the few trades I have of Batman. You know, it is so good, man. And I'm gonna jump on this again. One of the best fights I've read in a comic book, man. Like I said, and not only a good fight, it's bloody. It's intense and yeah, it's good. It's really good, man. Like I said, I mean, if you just read it for that, it's worth it. To get to the end when those two go at it, man. Oh, good. Just be chill just thinking about it.
That's a
um
strong story there.
it is, man, because like I said, because this is the first time somebody put them against one another. So that's why I think it also sticks out in people's mind, you know, because they've always teamed together, but nobody's ever put them against each other. So Frank was the first one to do it, and then of course after this, they fought, a few times before, but it's usually, like I said, somebody takes control of somebody or does some dumb shit, to protect or perpetuate, the fight. But this though, yeah, it was just yeah, there's no perpetuation. Just like governor said, Bruce, you're a boy. I mean, Clark, you're a boy. Stop this man. And Bruce was like, "Oh, well, yeah, you're gonna have to stop me because I'm not gonna stop." And yeah, then
Or
it,
you
it
can
just goes
try and
down.
stop me, more like it.
Yeah, yeah, and it just goes down, man. It just goes down, man. Oh, so good. So yeah, definitely. If you don't feel like reading it, like I said, watch the animated version. Like I said, I mean, they kind of shorten it, and leave some things out, but I think it's a good interpretation of it, man. You don't get everything, but I think they got the meat of it, if you know what I mean. So that is Sinder's top 10 Batman stories I have read. Um, Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite Batman story? I love to know. And like I said, you can always correspond with me. Like I said, in the comments, man. I'm always looking, and I always like to interact with people who actually view my content. And one more thing before I go to the sign off. Uh as we record this, it is September 27th, 2023. And just before recording, I found out that the voice actor of Harley Quinn from every animated interpretation of her has just died. That is Arlene Sorkin, died today. Um, and I just want to acknowledge that and pay homage to one of the best voice actresses in animation. Not only that, I feel like she owns this character and going forward because I know they're gonna do more animated stuff, obviously, but she's gonna be hard to replace. Just like we lost Kevin Conroy earlier this year, who is the voice of Batman. That's good. Those are hard shoes to fill, both of those characters. But like I said, I know DC will press on, and keep doing stuff. But those two, they are those characters.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to Harley Quinn and or Kevin Conroy?
No, those are some pretty big shoes to fill. You know, thoughts and prayers go out to their family. And, it's tough, especially like, growing up listening to them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's crazy. And it's cool that, nowadays you actually get to see these people and kind of like
Interact with them like at
interact
conventions and
with
stuff.
them. Yeah, like
Mm.
before, when I was growing up, you wouldn't. I was never able to put a face on any of those people, but
Yeah.
nowadays you could look it up, you could follow the person. It's so cool. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
And I also think now I think voice actors get more recognition than they did back then. Like when this was on the air. You know what I mean? Um and like you said, yeah, we get to put the face to these people who do these voices and stuff like that. And yeah, and if we're lucky, we do get to interact with them at conventions and stuff like that. Um, I saw somebody put a clip on Instagram. I don't know if you saw it because I did add it to my story, but Kevin Conroy was at a convention and he was telling the story how like he was at another convention and this girl, well, now the girl was a woman, came up to him and just like, I just want to say, and this is her telling him, it was like, I just want to say I what you call it really love Batman the animated series growing up. It's all I had. I had a mom who worked two jobs. I had a dad who worked two jobs. And when I came home from school, I watched Batman. And in a sense, Batman raised me and taught me right from wrong and was always there. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And then Kevin said he just like stood up and hugged her, and then they kind of hugged and they both were crying and stuff like that. So that's the power, I think, not only of the character Batman, but like the power of the people bringing him to life. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. No, 100%.
Um. So yeah, I mean, like I said, and I think you and I both are in the same boat, man. We would come home from school and watch Batman the animated series, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, what you call it? Yeah, it was cool, with the super villains and all that stuff. But yeah, we know he's a man, just a man, and he's trying to do the right thing, and there's lessons there. And yeah, sometimes he fucks up. Obviously, we all do. Nobody's perfect, but like I said, he atoned for his mistakes, and he tries to make, you know, his city a better place, and like I said, and try to root out the bad, everything like that. And like I said, is so much lessons to be learned from, those cartoons and everything like that, And I will give also a tip to Superman, the animated series too, as well, because Clark's the same way, even more so, I would think,
Yeah.
But uh, but no, that really, when I saw that clip, it really spoke to me. I was like, yeah, man, I know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? I know for sure. But yeah, not to, like I said, end it on a sad note, but yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that, because like Harley Quinn, again, one of my favorite characters, in the Batman mythos. And like I said, Arlene, like I said, will be Harley Quinn now and forever. For me and many, many other Batman fans alike, I would assume, you know. But I am Cinder. If you want, you can contact me, like I said, in the comments on this YouTube, or you can also reach me on my Instagram at Sinder666. I post about this very podcast and any other videos I post on the YouTube channel and just cool shit I find on the internet. And so you can always contact me over there. Like I said, for show ideas, or you just want to shoot the shit, I'm always on my phone. Throw it over to this guy.
And I'm Jose. You can follow me on Instagram at JoseCE90. You know, yeah, like you said, go in the DMs, let us know that you're a listener. Let us know, your comments, thoughts, suggestions, any episodes you want us to do. You know, we'll definitely try to please everyone.
Yeah, like I said, I want my not only do I want my community to get bigger, but like I said, I want us to be more interactive, man. Like I said, so like get in touch with us, man. Like I said, we're here. We're always watching. We're here always watching. Like I said, and also like I said, so I'm gonna end it right now. So if you would, like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a like on the video. Follow us on our social media accounts. And like I said, there should be a recommendation video there at the bottom left. And then on the right, if you haven't subbed, the bottom right, you can sub to the channel there. I am Cinder, and we will talk to you guys later.
Peace out.
All right, I'm going to call you real quick.